morning, I'm Sandy Walters and bringing you the news. So I'm here today at Grosse Pointe North with Olivia Anderson talking about culture of honor. What is your take?
Well, I grew up in a very sports-oriented family.
And what sports do you play?
I play varsity soccer and varsity volleyball.
Do you believe that your family has helped attribute to your athleticism?
Yes, I do. My dad was a coach, and he coached me and my brother from a young age on, and it just really helped me achieve my high goals of making varsity teams.
Great stuff, great stuff. And now you know what it's like. Back again, I'm with Val Rapids, counselor at Grosse Pointe North. I would like to ask you how you think raising your children will affect them in the future.
Well, you see, parental guidance has a lot to do with how they will grow up. But I'm also letting them express themselves freely and make their own choices. So I am an influence, but they can also find outside influences.
Do you have a fear that they will go down the wrong path?
You know, I think every parent has that fear, but at the same time, I have given them core values and, I've taught them right for wrong, and they have the power to choose. And if they choose to go down that path, that is their choice. I have no way to stop them, especially when they're older. I mean, I could do it now because they're young, but it's all about their own choices, really. I mean, I'm just here to guide them.
Also a good answer. Again, I'm here with Brian Fantana here to talk about culture of honor. How do you believe that your upbringing affected who you are today?
Well, I had the common mother. She, always loved me a lot. She gave me food whenever I wanted it, and my dad, he loved music, bought a guitar for me when I was 3 years old, and I still use that guitar today, and I make money with that guitar. So the upbringing really has a huge effect on who I am now.
Now back to me in the studio. Good morning, Michigan. This is Fox 3 News. I'm Sandy Walters bringing you the news. Today's topic is how culture of honor affects the world as we know it. Back in the early 1990s, two psychologists, Dov Cohan and Richard Nisbett at our very own University of Michigan conducted an experiment on the culture of honor. Here today with us is Richard Nisbett to explain a few things. Hello, Richard. Tell us what you were trying to find.
Hello, Sandy, and thanks for having me. Well, we insulted the young men from southern states such as Harlan, Kentucky, and saw how their responses differed from those from northern states.
What did these experiments consist of?
One of them, we had the men fill out a questionnaire. Sounds easy, right? After that, we had them drop it off at the end of a long, narrow hallway. The size mattered because there was a man in the middle to jostle them by saying a trigger word and getting in their way. After they reached the end of the hallway, we tested their handshake and took saliva samples to test their cortisol levels.
What did the results say?
The men from the northern states treated it with amusement. Their cortisol levels went down, actually.
What about the South?
Those men had a different response. Their levels went up and their handshakes greatly increased. This concludes the culture of honor theory.
All right, Richard, thanks for being on the show. Up next, we have Carmen Rodriguez, a relative of a former gang member, here to talk about her experience with culture of honor. Hello, Carmen.
Hello, Sandy. Nice to be here. Growing up, my family was always involved with gangs. So naturally, my brothers got involved.
Did you understand why they were in a gang?
I'd ask them why they needed to be in a gang and do what they do. The response was always personal honor. Any insult given to them or their gang, they'd respond with violence.
Why do you suppose they responded with violence?
Well, I've heard that southern states react with more violence, such as Harlan, Kentucky. Growing up, my dad used to always solve his issues with smashing something or physically taking it out on others. They felt it was a normal thing to do, so they joined a gang.
Thanks for being here.
No problem, Sandy. Keep staying awesome.
Up next, we have the ex-wife of the mobster Vinny, the Bomb, Bomberito. Amelia, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks, Sandy.
What are some problems you faced?
Well, you see, Sandy, I want to discuss the problems with growing up in the Italian culture. Growing up, I had family in the mafia. I decided to marry Vinny Bomberito, knowing he was in the mob. He was invited by his uncle when he was 20 years old, and he agreed to carry on the family tradition.
Is that a common thing for such young men?
Very common. A lot of people in the mafia are family. They call their gang La Familia, meaning family. It's a struggle being part of it because it's a really dangerous job. You either end up dead or in jail like my ex-husband Vinny. He got found guilty and convicted of the murder of a small business owner who was a messenger. He snitched, and that's not something the mafia tolerates.
Breaking news.
This just in, breaking news. Plane goes missing over the Indian Ocean. Up next on Fox 3 News.